Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild did an amazing job taking flat, non-specific race designs from previous games and making them richer and more diverse, adding cultural context to their designs and giving the characters more individuality. We've already modernized the Tokay and the Picori, so today let's modernize the Subrosians from the Oracle of Seasons. So these guys are super unique as a race. They are from a culture where they live among rocks and magma, and Wait a second. They love to work metal and, they love to sit in hot springs. Well, what's super unique is that they do dances in the round and... Wait! Besides wearing their iconic, obscuring cloaks, they basically just sound like Gorons. Hold up. This might not be just a redesign video. This might actually be a theory video. Okay, so from what I can gather, the Gorons operate super similarly to the Subrosians, but narratively, I don't really understand this choice. The only thing that they share in common in the Oracle games is the dance hall, but that seems like a pretty specific choice in a duo of games like the Oracle series. So why the same minigame twice? Because of this bizarre similarity, I'm going to make an audacious design shift for the Subrosian race. Both are rock-oriented, troll-like creatures that branched off ages ago. They still share the same racial proclivities, but the Subrosians decided to go deep subterranean rather than dwelling inside the mountains and caves of, whichever world they're in, Hyrule. And as of Tears of the Kingdom, we now have the perfect place to encounter them. Imagine diving down into the chasms of the depths and landing in the magma-lit city of the Subrosians. Link could explore their dance halls, their forges, and their magma hot springs. Heck, it would be super cool if we could find armor that drew inspiration from the Depths gear mixed with the Subrosian robes. Maybe a design video for another time. I've also decided that for this video, I would like to make a few varieties of Subrosians to really display that the species, marked by their nearly identical nature in the Oracle of Seasons games, could maintain their essential aspects while showcasing more individuality. They have so many interests, so they really should have some more unique appearances. So first, I did the unthinkable. I nearly stripped one down to be fully nude. I considered that perhaps this culture was highly modest and always wore tons of layers, but they are shown, spending a ton of time bathing in magma. Not only does this seem to work against bathing, but I figured we could use it as another chance to build a unique culture. In my mind, Subrosians are dedicated to modesty, but mostly focused on the face. Bodily exposure isn't a big deal to them, but facial exposure is incredibly intimate. Shout out to anybody who's a Brandon Sanderson fan and the Malwish people, They would be more reserved with their expressions and focus more on body language. They would soak in the magma pools wearing only their head wraps. This way we could learn a bit more about the kind of creatures they are while maintaining their glowy-eyed mystery that makes them so appealing. I decided to give them rock-like growths on their arms and back to make them feel more like Goron relatives, but instead of, the typical sedimentary rock look, I went with more obsidian rocks to play with like volcanic and magma kind of imagery. On to our next character, I designed a blacksmith for the Subrosians. In Oracle of Seasons, we meet Subrosians who upgrade Link's wooden shield into an iron shield, and later a mirror shield if the Oracle games are linked. They also help polish an old rusty bell into the pirate's bell. On top of this, there is some strange cultural aspect to the Subrosian smithy in which the smiths demand that Link ask for things in a very particular way, which normally requires gruffness or directness. I decided to reflect this in the general posture of the redesigned blacksmith Subrosian. He looks rough and stalwart, using square, blocky shape language to give the idea that he is going to be stubborn and direct. For his design, I wanted to give him a dramatically different silhouette. I was thinking about dwarves mixed with Rudania, that big, burly guy energy that signals you can't mess with him. I also wanted to embrace the idea that Subrosians having different hoods with different designs and geometric patterns. I love the idea of him wearing supermassive forge gloves. It really gives him a brand new look from the traditional simple robe with hood. The Subrosian smith in the game gives you rings as well, so I played with the idea of him having a special interest in jewelry. Also, I thought it was fun to make his hammer have a little Subrosian hooded guy to act as the ball peen part of his hammer. Finally, I wanted to create a design for one of the dance hall Subrosians who did that insanely difficult dance challenge in the Oracle game. Maybe it was just a matter of me being a kid, but I remember raging when I would have like a single misclick and it would ruin my entire chances of dancing my way to getting a Roc's Feather. Even though this dance game drove me crazy, I remember it being one of my favorite aspects of Subrosian culture. I know that the dance was mostly moving clockwise or counterclockwise in a circle, but they would also spin and reach to the sky. This spin, paired with their robes, made me think of those beautiful traditional Chinese dancers with long sleeves. I thought it would be a beautiful way to accent their spinning motions. I tried to still keep some solid earthy shape language for the pattern on the dancers' robes, but given the elegant nature of their dance moves, I decided to pull away from the blocky square shape language of the blacksmith, instead opting for solid whipping curves. Then for some reason I decided I would make a whole background for these characters, and let me tell you, not my favorite thing in the world to draw backgrounds for my characters, but that's why I'm making these videos. You know, I'm trying to grow, and a big part of that is embracing the parts of art that aren't your favorite parts. I enjoyed getting these characters to fit into their environment. So, you know, in the end, I did actually enjoy putting these characters into a background, and after editing the hot spring to contain magma instead of water, because that was like literally one of the basic points of this whole thing, we're done! This project was super fun and grew my skills a ton. I love how these color swap robed guys are now culturally motivated and identity specific. I feel like this could be such a cool addition to the depths if they were included again in the open world Zelda games. Now, I would love to hear which Forgotten Zelda races you would enjoy seeing me update. The stranger the better, and let me know if you have any other theories about which races might have shared heritage or should be given a legit connection. But for now, that's all from me. Not sure when I can get the next video up, but the more engagement this video receives, the sooner the next video will come out. Allegedly. So please share this video, like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to follow me on my socials. I hope to have another one out really soon. Working full-time in animation, making these, very challenging, but mostly the editing thing. So if you have any advice there too, I would love to hear about it. All that being said, have a great day, guys, and be sure to keep leveling up. Peace.